Well, good day and welcome back to Flight Dreams. You can see that we're back in the Air Canada livery. This is the A320neo, the fly-by-wire simulations version. Great modification. You can see the ground crew is getting us ready. They'll be loading the plane shortly with both luggage and our catering. Today's flight will take us from Halifax to Ottawa, the capital of Canada. So let's get in and get the plane ready. There you go. You can see the plane has actually already got power. That's because it's not the first flight of the day. We're a late afternoon flight, so we're not cold and dark. We are short turn. So let's make sure everything is fine first before we get going on this loading up on our checklist. Parking brake on, wipers off, spoilers retracted, engine masters off, engine mode selector normal, thrust levers idle, flaps retracted, anti-skid on, landing gear down, fuel quantity, and let's pop over here to the fuel. Already got our electronic flight bag up, fuel. We need, where am I here? 14,905, I believe is what it is. Fuel will go through our flight in a minute. It's a sim brief, 14,905. That equates to 6,761. Interesting. 6,761. kilograms of fuel. And we are refueling there. While we're refueling, let's go over our flight today. Better to look at Navigraph charts. Only gives you a little bit of an orientation should you not be aware of the area. Going from Halifax over to Ottawa, which is Canada's capital, just so you get a little bit of orientation. Montreal is here, right here. This is Toronto, Buffalo, Boston. So that's where we'll be flying today. Let's get in the airport here. And there we are at the airport. So while we are still refueling, let's go through these checks. Strobe lights. Seat belts. We'll get there eventually. Strobe lights are on. Adheres, they're fine. That tells the plane where we are in the world. We're going to check our fire tests. Pull out a bit here. APU. That's fine. Engine 1. It's fine. Engine 2. Excellent. And cargo. Super. And you see the fuel is loading here. Excellent. So that is fine. Let's make sure here air conditioning is set where it should be. It should be very comfortable for our passengers. Emergency exit signs are on from the last flight. Were they? No, they weren't. Interesting, they had turned them off. So that's why we go through a checklist. No smoking sign on. While we're waiting to be able to put the seatbelt on, let's do the annunciator. Lights test, make sure all of the lights are working. They appear to be all working. Turn that off. Let's go here. Are we complete? We're completed on the fuel. Let's turn on the seatbelt sign. Now we can get our MCG. McDo hooked up and get us our flight plan in. Let's go over here first of all, pull the flight plan into from SimBrief, pull it into our computer here. So let me see here, 24, 1900. The winds are 300 at 7. 250 to 360 variable. 15 statute miles, view clouds at 6,000 feet, 14 degree temperature. Altimeter is 3018. What do we have in Ottawa? Variable, 15 statute miles, view at 25,000 feet, 20 degrees, altimeter 3019. Okay, so I think we're probably going to be good with what we had put in the pilot room. So let's initiate our flight. Data request. Flight 227, Halifax to Ottawa. Fuel on board 14.9. Great, 14.9. Going to be wheels up to touchdown, 1 hour and 33 minutes. Performance, 14.9 on the fuel. That's great. We don't load that. Here we can load. We have 166 passengers with us today. Let's go back to the FMGC. AIRAC, which is our navigation information. We're in the right cycle, so that's great. Init A, let's request the flight Halifax to Ottawa. Montreal is our alternate. Flight 227. Cost index 15 and 38,000. Let's come over here to our flight plan. Cost index 15, altitude 38,000. Cost index will tell the plane how fast to fly. Flight plan. So what we've got to do is, and I am using the ATC from the simulation today. Let's request the clearance. And squawk 4154. Turn that to auto. Let's acknowledge that. That's right here, Frontier Airlines. Unusual visitor to Halifax, must be a charter in. Interesting, we're getting runway 32. I had planned for 5, but 32. Here we are here. Lots of room to be able to take off, so no problem there. So we can get back to working on our flight plan. Halifax departure, runway 32. We are going to use the Halifax 4. Insert. What I'd like to do at this point is, here we are here, the Halifax 4 departure. Off of 32, the heading is 323. So let's put that in right now. (323). Ottawa, based on the weather information we have, they're going to be runway 32 and RNAV Yankee. River 4 is our star. Let's go back here. River 4 is our star. Do I have RNAV 4? That's 7. Should have it up. I had many of the options up here. Yankee. Which will it take? This one, I believe, is the one we want. Erlag, if it's in here. There it is. Erlag. And LSAT. Come back here. LSAT is right here. So LSAT, Erlag. And we should come up this way. And then probably have it disconnect. So let's have a look at that. We are. It's fine there, straight out. Flight plan. I didn't insert the last one, that's why it was not green. Get rid of these messages. So we'll just step through the flight plan. Make sure everything looks fine. Oh, don't like that. Let's bring that down to a range of 10 miles. Erlag. Advos. Where were we? Erlag. Advos. And we should be here. What? Interesting. I'm not, it doesn't do it at all here. Doesn't have clear, and it won't allow me, oh it will, clear that. Don't want Amigo, I don't want Amigo. Clear Amigo. Let's see what we've got here now. Still don't like what it's giving me. Okay, and straight in. Interesting. Advos, MIPA? Advos. We should be actually here, but probably coming in. Where am I? RNF 32. Well, we'll go with it. For freeware, this is absolutely an amazing plane. But I think it leaves a little bit to be desired when it comes to some of this flight planning with the SIDS and the stars. But we'll go with it. Okay, puts us back to ARC. Constraint, 10 nautical miles, flight director. I'll put this one up to the 320. Constraint, flight director. So let's continue. Init, page B. So we've got here 0 fuel weight, 128.6. That's great, 29.7. Fuel planning, our block fuel is 14.9. We need here our tailwind off of our flight plan. You can see here, takeoff weight, estimated takeoff weight, perfect, off by 100, that's fine. Here, average wind minus 42, so we're actually going to have a headwind today, which is great. Now I've got a new program over here, which will calculate our flex and our V speeds. I have not used this before, so we'll see how good this is. So I'll get some information to put in here. 323 is the heading. Elevation. Come back here. Elevation 323, 476. 476. Length in meters 2347. 2347. Slope. No. Wind component. Let's go back over here. .300 at 7. 300 at 7. Boy, I should have taken temperature is 14. 14. 7. 14. Well, that's interesting. Well, we'll see if we can get away with it. Still learning how to do the recording. Where were we here? QNH, the altimeter 3018. 3018. Dry. Off weight. Take off weight. So we come back over here. I have to do a calculation here. 143.1. So we'll go back to my little app that I have to quickly do this. 143.100 is 64.9. Kilos. Thrust will be flex. Air conditioning on, anti-ice off. 29. There we go. So this is what we should be putting in. Let's see how we do here. Okay, performance. We'll see how this goes. Flaps will be 1. 1 down. 0.1 down. Flex temp 60. And our V speeds 36, 37, 38. 36, 37, 38. Now we'll see what happens. 18,000 is our transition altitude in Canada. Never used that program before, so we'll see. Everything's input there. Back to flight plan, and that takes care of that. Let's just go over here. Sorry to Atsu. And I think we're fine for the moment. We'll pull up the information for the METAR for Ottawa when we're in flight. So that's great. We're getting closer to be able to head out. Let's get rid of the jetway. Pull back. That should disengage shortly. Reduce wind shear on. Cockpit door locked barometer. I've said it so many times I don't remember it. 3018. 3018. The standby to 3018. And ramp has been disconnected. Let's get our tug in place. See there, it's moving in place. Let's get the APU getting ready to go. So done. Flight directors are both on APU. Crew oxygen on. Fuel supply on. Air conditioning we have set. Navigation lights are on. I'm just going to wait. It looks like it's set. The tug is set in place. So we're going to take the parking brake off. Waiting for the APU to become available. There it is. Start the bleed. External power off. And let's make sure power is gone. So we are beacon on. We're ready to push back. So let's head back. There we are. And ignition. Engine 2 on. And 2 is rising. Let's start turning to the right. We always start engine 2 first. What a beautiful sound. And stop. Let's get back in here. You start engine 1, parking brake on. Tug can now head off. And 2 rising. There you can see the tug was heading off. We'll see him shortly. N2 rising, EGT rising, N1 rising. Excellent. And there's the tug there, heading back to the gate. So while we're waiting for that to come up, I'll wait to move through the checklist. But we can actually request our taxi. And you can see here, I do have the taxi ribbon on. That's because not all airports match real world nomenclature for their taxiways, and to get to exactly where the game wants you to go, the simulation wants you to go, I just keep that on. So there we are. Those are steady, engine bleed, and master. Yes, my apologies, I didn't acknowledge. Let's have our co-pilot answer all the ATCs, TTC messages. Do that because it gets very busy. And I can then fly the plane. Transponder, auto, probe heat is auto, spoilers, arm, flaps, 1, anti-ice not required, brake, maximum, that's in case we have a rejected takeoff, nose light, it's a little bit taxi, runway turn off lights, we put on, it's a little bit dull today, parking brake off, weather radar on, let's turn the clock on. I should have done that before I backed away from the gate. So, flight controls. Check here. Rudder full left, rudder full right. Elevator down, elevator up. Ailerons left, ailerons right. We're looking good. Takeoff configuration. Everything looks great there. We are ready to go. So, throttle forward. And then bring it back. So we don't need to We only want to taxi about 20 to 30 knots. No. We often get that hold position and there's no traffic, so I'm going to ignore it and just keep going. Let's just have one more look. Don't see any traffic, so we're just going to ignore that call. There we go. There was nothing in our way. It's strange. Check. No traffic. We're fine there. You'll notice that I do stop speaking when ATC is on, whether it's ATC for us or ATC for somebody else. I always want to make sure that you're listening to that. We can get rid of that program now. Don't save it. And there we are, coming along D, and I believe this is a good example. They had us taxi Bravo. But you can see here, it's Delta. That's why I keep this ribbon on, although it's obvious to come down here. But if I was flying on FlightSim or didn't have air traffic control on, I wouldn't have used the ribbon. So before we get going, let's have a drink of tea. Yes, I'm a tea drinker, not a coffee drinker. We change down here our display to all. And go to tower. With the windsock. And a little bit of throttle forward. Lights on. We are ready to go. See here a little bit of rain around. Don't think it's going to interfere with us at all. There we go. Start the chronometer and bring the throttle up to 50%. That's good. Now bring throttle up to flex. And we're off. Airspeed's alive. I love the sounds, so I'm hoping you're hearing them rolling down the runway. V1 rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. When we pass 400 feet, we'll engage autopilot. There we go, autopilot engaged. Disarm spoilers. I got a level climb at 11. Level climb sign here, so I pulled back to climb here. Coming up there to S. So flaps up. We got direct to Kelno. So I like to turn 315. And let's go direct. Kelno. There we are. And use the lateral navigation. There we go. So I did retract this, disarm the spoilers, like I mentioned that. Beautiful clouds today, as they always are. We will have the sun in our face shortly. So we'll be flying west late afternoon. But I do have to ask to go higher. That's my responsibility as the captain. We do want to go up to 38,000. Another 10. We're getting close to our 9,500 here. So let's leave our last 6,000 until we actually get our next altitude call out. And our 6,000 to get us to 38. Okay, passing through 10,000, we turn the lights off. And the seatbelt sign, so your service can begin in the back. Plane is automatically adjusting its thrust and speed. It should do this. Is very good. I like to go to range of 20 nautical miles when we pass 10,000. Nice day here. A little cloudy to the north. Northeast, rather. North. It is the north up there. This is the Bay of Fundy out here. It's connected to the Atlantic Ocean, and it has the highest tides in the world. It actually has tides so high that one city, which I'll show you here, St. John, I can put that down here, right here. They have a river there, and it actually flows backwards when the tide is coming in. That's how powerful the tide is and how high the tide is. A great tourist attraction for the area. No smoking sign is still on. That's good. Perfect. Have another tea. So, just show you here, this is the Bay of Fundy here. And the Atlantic Ocean, Boston down here. When we pass 18,000 feet, we'll use the standard altimeter reading of 29902. It's North America, Europe, many other parts of the world use metric, which is 1013. But we just have to pull, once we go through, pull this button, this knob, once we go past 18,000 to get it to be standard. There we are. However, the backup doesn't change automatically, so we have to change that down to 2992. Bay of Fundy again. Not sure if we're going to get any icing today. We might, going through these clouds. It's not that warm. Bit of a storm starting to brew here. Rain down to our left. Over here. Above 18 now. I like to go to 40 nautical miles on our Oh, not looking good over there either. Some storms building. Late afternoon storms. Airport down here. It could be thunderstorms actually starting to brew. We'll see for them. But we're not going to be around to actually see, so it was a silly statement on my part. Should be going through this cloud layer shortly. Find often When you get this light green here, it's just radar reflectivity. Really hasn't got any rain associated. It's when you get to this orange up to the reds, that's where the rain is. More tea. Just want to look at the overhead panel. I think it's 7. No, 8. There we go. Everything's looking quite nice. Good, it's working. Good. Just starting to get into that cloud layer. Just not sitting exactly where I like. That's a little bit better. Angled a bit. Okay, just for the moment. Let's look here. I think we're going to get 32. It's probably what I'm going to take anyway, unless there's a huge wind shift. The ILS is 110.3. Let's go to our nav radio. 110.3. Put that in. It says NDB associated with it. 377. Let's put that in. And I believe Ottawa is this sky vector. 1146. The VOR 114.6 and VOR1. So let's turn this on, VOR1 and our radio 1, radio 2 to ADF. See, tuned in. Nautical miles not there. Neither is an identifier such as YOW or YRR, but we're all ready to receive those signals. I think, let me just look here, the ATIS for Ottawa 121.15. So when we get closer, we'll check that weather. That will give us a runway. I'm also going to put the weather in once we get past the top of the hour. You can see here we're 1856. Are we? Sorry, 1956. 1956 Zulu time, Greenwich Mean Time. Once we get past the top of the hour, a fair bit. And actually what I'll do, get the weather, but let's get the weather now. The McDo, the Atsu, which is weather. It's got the two airports in. We only really care about Ottawa. Yes, we do care about Halifax in case we have to return. We'll get a couple of minutes up here, then we'll be able to review it down here. I'm going to get this message now to see what there we are, weather should be 1900. There's new METAR, 1900. Great, let's print it. And that way, if there's a change between 1900 and 2000, we can see how it is changing. Whether the wind is moving, shifting quickly, whether the altimeter is shifting up and down, and so forth. So we printed that, take it off, it goes here. Let's go back to the FMGC and back to the flight plan. You can see we have 430 miles to go. So just above that layer now, very hazy, thin layer of cloud, a little thicker here. So my eyes are always scanning across the instruments to make sure that everything is operating correctly. If you followed my flights before, you're very aware of that. Not quite sure how much to chat about. I guess if you're new to the channel and this is your first video, you may want more of what's going on, thought processes I'm using. If you've been on the channel before, you may be fully aware of what's going on. So try to balance it out. Some more tea. Great, let's call the flight attendant here. Hi, I'm great, how are you? Super. Can you bring me up some water, please? Thank you. Better unlock the door. And well, I'll wait to hear the knock. There we are. We are. Hi. That's great. Thank you. And let's lock that door again. There we are. And we're just getting to our 38,000 cruise altitude. Let's just go back here and let's do a little more tracking as we come along to find out where we are. We can do two things. We can obviously use Navigraph to show us where we are. Let's also, here you can see we're just passing St. John, which is right here, St. John. Let's put in this Aeronautic VOR 1179, and we'll be able to track just another situational awareness. 117.9. You can see this time it comes in with Mike Lima Tango, whereas Ottawa is not identified yet. Neither is the ADF. So we come up here, we have radio 2 set for the ADF, but we move it over to the VOR. There we are, MLT, Mike Lima Tango, 94 nautical miles, and there's the arrow where that VOR actually is. So we'll see this arrow swing to our right as we pass it. Part of the Trans-Canada Highway, I would think, down here. So we're looking great, 38,000 feet. 0.78, Mach 7.8, which is super. Not much of a headwind today. We did have it, put it in. What was the average that we had put in here? 42 is what the calculation had given us. Right now we're at 23 from 319. True airspeed is 450, but we're actually doing ground speed of 434 because of the wind. Mound, that waypoint, 296 degrees in front of us. 4.8, 4.7 nautical miles will be there at 2003, which is basically now. So let's just do something else here that we should do, I like to do, is to see how well we're doing. 26 minutes into the flight, and we are about 22 and a half. So we're actually a little bit ahead of time. Passengers always like that. We don't want to be too far ahead of time because our slot at the destination airport isn't always available. But we're a little bit ahead of time at the moment. Fuel looks good, 12.8. Excellent. I have a drink of that water that the flight attendant brought in. This is a late afternoon flight. Meal service would be a dinner service. We took off right now, just looking at the time. Actual time where we are would be about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We're about to head into, that's Atlantic time, we're about to head into Eastern time in North America. Put it back to 4 o'clock, so meal service would be underway, I think. Though, I guess it would be a light dinner. What we're serving today, and that typical, you could get snacks off the cart, or if you wanted to grab a sandwich, you could. I'm obviously not having anything today. I only have this one flight today. We arrive in Ottawa. No more flights, so I'll grab something to eat when I get to the hotel in Ottawa. Not much sightseeing to be done today. That is a very, at least you can see something. Not crisp. Looks like pretty soon we won't see anything. The cloud that looks like it's going to get a little bit thicker. Got some rain in front of us here. We should be, let's see where we are here. Yes, getting the call to the Boston Center soon. So we do fly across U.S. airspace, across the state of Maine. So we leave Halifax, which is Nova Scotia, across the Bay of Fundy over the province of New Brunswick, then into U.S. airspace, the state of Maine, back into Canadian airspace, into province of Quebec, and then the province of Ontario, which is where Ottawa is located. You can see it is getting a little thicker. And there's the call. You can see here now we're 48 nautical miles from Mike Lima Tango VOR. And you'll notice the needle is just ever so slightly moving. The closer we get, the faster that'll move to the right. But we didn't get the icing I thought we would get today. It just looked like we might, which is neither here nor there. Either way, it doesn't bother us. If we had have got icing on the engines, I just would have pushed these two buttons, engine 1 and engine 2. That would have warmed up the engines, stopped the icing. And the same if we had have got icing on the wings. We obviously don't want that to happen. It inhibits our ability to fly. It doesn't look like we're going to get that today. A flight management computer would automatically tell us what was going on. We'd get notifications down here of what to do. And when I say what to do, I mean what buttons to press, etc. So, still at 38,000. That's great, 250. 450. This is indicated airspeed. This is true airspeed. Still fine there. Everything's nice in here. 12.4. Fuel used. Oil is fine. Vibration is minimal. That's great. Anything else is optimal. And the temperature's looking very good. Time is 2010. And you can see here with the range at 320. This is Ottawa here. And if we actually go to flight plan page, 330, 338, I guess, is where we are, distance to go. You can see here we're at 29 nautical miles to Mike Lima Tango, and the needle is moving a little more discernibly now. So when that needle gets to the right, we are directly south of this. This is it here, Mike Lima Tango. be off to our right. It won't be directly south, but off to our right. And obviously, once the needle gets over here, we won't see it, but I can move to nav, and we can actually see when that needle is off to our right. I like keeping it on arc. Again, personal preference. Some pilots like to be on nav, and some pilots like to be on arc. It'd be interesting to see. Let's go back here for a sec. See how close we get to that VOR. Let's just have a look in VFR mode here. This is right there. Just looking to see what's around. Not much. We are directly to the right of that. There's a power plant over here. Don't think we won't see it. All the clouds today, but hold high. We'll come back to that. Let's go back to the navigaph. See here, the VOR should be in here. It doesn't show up on navigaph though. 13 nautical miles to Mike Lima Tango. And you see the move. You can actually see that needle moving now. A drink of water. It says it's important for our passengers to stay hydrated. It's important for the flight crew to stay hydrated also. You can see discernibly moving. 9.3 nautical miles. Let's switch over to nav so you can see it being the needle go by. And 7 nautical miles. And that's to our right. That's as close as we'll get. And it'll go back up to 7.1. There we go. We've gone past it. So let's go back to arc. And now you can see the tail end of that arrow. And just notice here there is a difference in the arrows. Here it's a double line in the body of the arrow right there. For VR1 it's a single line. So we can now turn that off and put it over to the NDB that we want, Auto Direction Finder, ADF. It isn't. And we'll go from there. Getting closer. 301 nautical miles to go. Just still very thin. There's some thicker clouds around, very thin layers of cloud today. Enough that if you were on the ground looking up to find us, you may not see us. Let's take a look outside the plane for a moment. Something we can do in our flight sim world. And we should see the contrails. And there they are. Zoom in. Myself, co-pilot, engines working away. Ah, beautiful shot of the sun there. That is loud out there. But it gives us a nice perspective. I like popping out every once in a while to see that. So, Dirdu, which is our next waypoint, 78 nautical miles from it, we'll be there at 2028. Right now it's 2017 and a half. So we'll call it 18, but another 10 minutes before we get to Dirdu. And let's just have a look here. 10 minutes, that would make it 46, 47. Back here, Dirdu. 52 minutes is where we should be. So it looks like we're going to be still ahead of schedule. So as we come in here, we've got to go up to get into the standard terminal arrival. And let's just see if we can have a look at that. But I didn't see that actually when we were looking. So let's go to plan. Still at 40. Let's just step through here. I don't see a big shift. Interested in it showing that. We'll keep our eye open. No more rain down below us. Just scanning again. I actually scan the instruments far more than I let you know that I'm scanning them. Speed, altitude's fine. Radar looks fine. Direction again looks great. N1, AGT, N2. Fuel flow look fine. Fuel used. Oil, vibration, temperature. All looks good. We're now 272 nautical miles away from our destination. Another drink. We can zoom in here on the map also. Out. You see the map here, we're getting to those lakes. Let's go back here, and there's the same lakes. Many ways you can track where we're going, what's going on. Every pilot has a different way of doing it. It's what they become comfortable with, what they like, so forth. So you can see the wind is still coming from the direction 324 at 23 knots. That hasn't changed. It's about in this direction, like that, coming towards us. Not much sightseeing going on today. I guess I should start doing some of these flights live, streaming them live. That way you can join me on the flight and ask questions as we go along. I'm not quite sure, as I mentioned earlier, what I should be chatting about, whether I should continue chatting or just have moments of silence here, which is not a bad thing. Go ahead and comment. Put some comments in the comment section. I do read them all, and I'll judge going forward there. While you're there, please subscribe, like the video, helps grow the channel. Helps me understand too what videos you prefer to see of the flying, whether it's commercial aircraft, whether it's the 320 or the 787 at the moment. Haven't done any 787 videos yet. Whether it's the Warbird, which I'm partial to the Spitfire at the moment, or whether it's some general aviation, Cessna single engine 172 or twin engine Beechcraft 58. Let me know your thoughts. So, speed, altitude is fine, direction is fine. All of these look okay. So you can see here, 28, we just hit 24, about 4 minutes to go. And 4 is 47. What did we say it was? Off our thing, 52. So we are about 5 minutes ahead of schedule, which is great. The other thing, and I wasn't counting, didn't look, I should have. So we saved about 5 minutes airtime, and it didn't take us 15 minutes from pushback to start of our roll, which is what we allowed for this flight. So we saved a bit of time there. Flight plan has allowed us 10 minutes from touchdown to the gate. So I think you're going to be maybe 10 to 15 minutes early. Just want to look here at our flight plan. Deerdew is in 16 nautical miles, just another way to check it. 15.6. So just looking at the flight plan here, you can see that we're going along flight level 38,000 feet. Indicated airspeed about 248. When we get to Pup-Off, we're going to reduce speed to 210. So we'll start to slow down here. That's what the flight plan has us doing. Still at 38,000 feet. But at Erlag, we have to be 5,000 feet. So we will get a descend in there somewhere. To flight plan. So let's go and get the weather. Won't be long before we think we should have weather for 2000. Send our last weather, as you can see. Remember 1900 Zulu. Wait for company message to come up here. Making a little bit of a left turn, which is good. I want to keep my eye on this. Here we are. Our messages. Here's our viewed, our new 2000. That's great. Print that. We can have a look at it while we're doing this. So still variable at 4 knots, 15 statute miles visibility, a few clouds at 25,000, 22 degrees. Altimeter 3017. It's declined a bit, 3019. It's fine, not a rapid decline by any means. So we'll just put that there. We're going to need that information soon to put into our performance for our approach. Now, every once in a while, and I don't know why it does this, I'm still trying to figure out, as I mentioned earlier, is an incredible mod, the FlyByWire, but I don't like sometimes the way it handles SIDS and stars. SIDS being the standard entry and departure. And more often, they're fine. It's the stars. Sometimes I have a problem with the standard terminal arrivals. But we will work it out regardless. Okay, about 248, 38,000. The right direction is fine. We don't have the NDB, EDF tuned in yet, or the VOR for Ottawa. And 1 EGT and 2 fuel flow all looks fine. Our fuel on board looks great. Fuel used, oil, vibration, cabin temperatures all look good. It's that thin layer of cloud. You can see here a lake. Let's have a look here. We can zoom in a bit. It's interesting. We're not going to go up here. I don't know why this is actually showing here. We've got the River 4. You can see here River 4 arrival. Katok, but we're coming in Vilro. I don't know why it's showing that. And we're not coming into 7. So we can get rid of anything to do with runway 732 RNAV 7. There we go. So just interested in coming here and going straight along there. I'm not sure why it put this in. And runway 32. RNAV for 32. We should be coming in like that. So let's just have a look at the thorough log right here. Log Advos. On MIPA right there. R92 is not showing up. That's okay. And then we're heading right into the runway. Super, so we're looking good. Let's keep this on. And we'll leave it off for now. We'll keep it back to here. One thing I didn't do, I should have, was open this up. No other calls I should have been listening to. Just curious, one thing I should check. Start of the star is Vilroy, I guess. We're not going to get a good look at Montreal in front of us today. Actually, Montreal should be off to our left. It's the VOR in Montreal. Let's just go over here. There's the Montreal VOR, but this is Montreal down here on the island. There's Dorval, or actually Pierre Elliott Trudeau now. Downtown Montreal is here, as you can see. It will be off to our left. Now we'll see if we get a good view of it. I don't think we will. I've flown this flight before, same route, and you really don't get a good look at it. There's a town down here. Let's see if we can see what we got. Sherbrooke. That is Sherbrooke down there. So remember we were talking Popov. We will start slowing down there. The FMC flight management computer will automatically do that for us. And we'll go from about 248 down to 210 it was, right there. There we go, enter destination data. That's what I was waiting for. So, performance. Activate approach phase. Confirm. QNH. Where am I here? 3017. Oh, now this is where, and I don't understand it, so I want to keep an eye on it. Oh, okay. We should be heading right to Popov, but it didn't do that. And I'm so direct to. There we go. Don't know why it's not picking that up automatically, why it does this. Goes off course there. That should put us on course. I'm glad I was watching. So we'll go back to performance. 3017. 3017. Never had that problem in the Boeings. I just have it here, variable. So we'll put 320 at 4. Not sure how to put variable in there. 18,000 feet is the transition altitude in Canada. And the temperature, 22. There we go. 132 is our approach speed. So when we pass Popov, we'll make a bit of a right-hand turn to Vilroy, and we should start to, we've already pulled back a bit on the speed. See if it pulls back some more. It should. It should be 210. Not doing it yet. Okay, Vilro, 15 nautical miles. We'll be there in 2 minutes, 20:39. That's a minute and a half. So let's pull up the chart here. We have to be runway 32 below 12,000 feet. Let's see if we can get in the Ottawa ATIS. I don't think we will. It was 121.15. You remember we looked before? Just go over here, 121.15. And switch that over. Too far away. Let's get it ready to go again. When it is time, the ATIS will tell us which runway we're landing on, but I'm going to go in 32. Okay, we can. Let's reduce the range here. Down to 80 nautical miles. We'll leave mine at 40 nautical miles. Making a bit of a left turn out to Allsat. Okay. Interesting, it didn't go down to the 210, it stayed at 230. I can't figure this this FMC out. That's okay. Just verify that I do have, yes, 110.30. The frequency for runway 32. Let's just have a look here. We're just coming in here, all set. Let's just look at the airport. 10,000 feet. And we might be able to get off the runway at taxiway D, if not Echo. Delta, then Echo. This is probably Montreal here. Let's grab a drink of water. So descending nicely. There we go. The Ottawa, Yankee, Oscar, Wilco. VOR, 123 nautical miles from it. Let's see, can we get the ATIS out this far? No, not coming on. So let's put it back in. 121.15. If we were on FlightSim, which I really should do a flight sim to show you what FlightSim is like. The problem sometimes with FlightSim is there's nobody on. You don't see other planes. the planes that you see here, although we haven't seen any today, are live flights that's happening in the real world. I have that set up that way. When you're on flightsim, you're seeing other people who are flying around the world. And there may be no air traffic control, which is fine. You just do everything on your own judgment. But maybe I'll do that for you in the coming days. So we're almost at, we're at 33.2. We're going down to 33.2. Soon get a call to go lower. So what I was saying was you can on flightsim check out the ATIS well in advance. So I would know exactly which runway. So if they were bringing me in on a different runway other than 32, which is what I'm planning for, then I would know that I could be making the changes now. Everything happens with the ATC in the simulation a little too late for my liking, in that you're notified of runways, etc. It's sometimes tough to get everything done in new information program. The new information programmed 180. I also don't know why. It's interesting. You see we're on this line here, which is our course 2 all set when we had to reset it. It always gives me this other line, which was directly from where we were to the airport. I'm not sure why it's doing that either. I must be setting something up incorrectly for it to do this. So I'll have to do some more research. See why it's not pulling, why it does this, why it eliminates that line. It goes from there, sends us off course. So if you're not really watching, you can be in a lot of trouble. So let's have a look to see where we are. We're not quite yet. Anything in this box, when it's not to scale, you won't see us. After all set, as we approach thorough, you'll start to see we will appear as that magenta triangle. So this is Montreal that we can't see. But let's pop outside. Montreal Airport, downtown Montreal. Weather today really isn't conducive to seeing Montreal. There's the airport there. Montreal Airport, the ICAO is Charlie Yankee Uniform Lima, CYUL. There is an airport north of, this is the main passenger airport. There is a cargo airport north of Montreal called Mirabel. It's Charlie Yankee Mike X-Ray is its ICAO. Have a drink of water. Okay, let's put that passenger sign back on. Everybody will take their seats. And I'm also not sure in this mod if it'll actually get me to here, Thorough at the 12,000 feet we need to be at. We'll see. I said, this is an incredible mod. The A320 that came with Flight Simulator 2020, which just came out in August of last year, 2020, left a lot to be desired. This group of people who have put this mod together have done incredible work. Really nothing to complain about. They've given us a very flyable A320. It's approaching payware quality. I often fly. I'm a Boeing, part of the Boeing brigade, so I fly PMDG, 737, 747, so forth. Rarely do I fly Airbus, but I have flown Airbus almost exclusively until recently. And this version of the flight simulator, there's another group called Heavy Division, and they have been working on a mod for the 787. And that has made the 787 very flyable. It was not flyable before. It was just terrible, the one that came with the game. But the Heavy Division mod for the 787 has made that plane very flyable. So I fly. Yeah, heavy. Now we're not going to be doing that. I'll show you why. Coming in here. Oh, we're not connected to the sim. Darn it. We'll be able to see where we are there. Come on. There we go. And there we go. And we got everything back. So we come here. There's the Yankee Romeo. We have to come down this way. Come up here and do a U-turn in. Actually, we're not going to, according to the flight plan. We might go directly in here and down. But we're going to ignore the direct to Yankee Romeo and follow what we were going to be. Now, let's just see here again. Refresh. 12,000 feet at Thorough. 23,000 feet. 30 miles out. 25 miles out. 1,300 feet. So, 1,000 feet per minute. 10 minutes to Thorough. 53, 51. I think we better intervene here and start to descend faster. And that's the one thing, as I mentioned, this mod doesn't take you. This is the Ottawa River, by the way. This mod doesn't necessarily do your descent as well I would like, so I got to keep my eye on it. And passing 18,000 feet, we do have to put in the altimeter 3017. So we can change this one now, the backup 3017. I like to go down a little bit. Oh, there we have the ADF. There is no nautical miles, no distance measuring equipment with this. It's just pointing to Yankee Romeo Romeo. That's actually where we might be going in. Let's just do this again. Plan. Interesting. We'll see what happens. It seems as though when I change the altimeter, see how that line is gone? Interesting. I will have to figure this one out. Direct to thorough. There we go. Okay, let's start. We're going to want it pretty close to the altitude, so that's good. I want to put the speed brake on. I want to bring this back in. We can't go above 250 knots below 10,000 feet. And again, you do something here and manual, and it takes it off. I don't understand why it's doing that. Anyways, we don't want to go below, above, 250 knots. And the next 5,000 meter leg. And we can put our lights on now. It's bright, so we're not going to need the landing lights, the runway turn-off lights. Track 2. Airlock. And we can flaps 1. So we don't need the speed brake now. We can arm the ground spoilers. Auto brake is medium. Seatbelt signs on, landing light on. Oh, this is annoying. Turn to airlock. Enter. And boom. That was my fault. Just seems when I do stuff, the altimeter or manually here, it just messes up. So I'll have to figure that one out. You can see lots of agricultural land around Ottawa. Interesting, it's got us coming back twice. So track 2 is Erlog, that one. We'll see. Erlog, Advis, Erlog, don't know why. I am not comfortable with the Airbus flight management computer. Okay, another drink. Almost gone through all of that water that the flight attendant brought me. So we have to be at 5,000. Erlog 4,200 at Advos. Let's go down 10 nautical miles. I don't know what it's going to do when we get up here. It might, according to the flight plan here, it is now spinning us around to come in again. I will override that if that happens. So Erlog, let's just see here. 2102, about 3 minutes to go. 1300, we will be above Erlog. So I want to come down a little bit more than that. Down about 1800. And we got some time. Some room to spare here. This red line means overspeed. And it's not taking it. Darn. Well, now it grabbed it. Well, it didn't grab it again. I don't know why. This is the Ottawa Airport here. That will be for runway 25. Those lights. Downtown Ottawa is in here. So let's put flaps on. 1 degree of flaps, 1 knot or 2 notches, rather of flaps. And we put in here, what was it, 132. Performance, 132. So let's go here, let's stay at 171. Just don't like the way this is behaving. Ready to switch it to manual heading. Instead of listening to the computer, we don't want to go around in this loop. We just want to go straight. Well, that was at 5,000. That's pretty good. Where we have to be here. We pop it out 4,200. Let's put our landing service on. LS. Oh, there we go. We are set to runway 32. a little bit too far out. Oh, it's picked it up. There we are. We're above the glide slope and we're to the left of it. So it's not showing. Looks like it's there. It'll be a heck of a turn coming in. Just want to check here. Don't know why it didn't coming in here inbound. So we're okay. And let's just check. We should be 1400 there. So you know what? Let's bring it down to 1400. So we didn't do that loop. That's great. We had a turn going in there though. Into Ottawa. Now we'll see what happens. I would have expected this. Oh, there we go. Expected that to be coming up. That's the glide slope. Expect the localizer to come alive soon. Front lines. Put the approach on. Okay, our flaps are full. Landing gear down. Yeah, I thought we'd blow through. We gotta come back to the right. It doesn't look like it's doing it. We might have to take this off and fly it in manually. So let's do that. I'll be over here. I don't like the way that came in. 132. Pull back. Downtown Ottawa over here. I won't be able to do much sightseeing after that. You see the happy lights, red and white. Yes, I know. Thank you. The happy lights and the glide slope is showing me I'm right on. So interesting. I'm getting it too low. Retard. And reverse thrust. And we're not going to make delta. We will make echo. Yeah. Get our flaps up. First of all, speed brakes up. Down. We can arm the APU. Slow down a little bit more. Make this turn. And lights, we can go to just our taxi lights. I have to get back in charge here. And we want to go to the gates. Sign here, APU available. Right there. So let's go up. Turn the bleed on. There we go. Looks like there's a truck coming our way. Again, one of the nuances of the game. So we'll just go through the truck. Otherwise, we'd be waiting here for a very long time, and the trucks would be getting out of our way, not the other way around. So right through him we will go. A few flights here. Air Transat, Alitalia, Scandinavian. And again, that blue ribbon, I've got it on because not always does taxi or gate 3 correspond to the real gate 3. However, this is scenery that I have downloaded from the marketplace, payware scenery, so it probably is accurate where gate 3 is. I'm going to turn the taxi lights off now. We don't want to blind anybody coming into our gate. And right turn, add a bit of differential braking, right. Swiss Air. Oh, I blew that. That's obvious. Lots of things gone wrong on this flight. But we have made it safely. Not the prettiest of flights whatsoever. Certainly not one to be shown as an example of how best to fly. Air Marshal has told us to stop here, brake, turn the engines off, and this is annoying. It always goes back to that screen. That's something Microsoft has to fix, that it doesn't automatically go back there. Okay, fuel flow off, seatbelts off. Let's get the jetway connected. Lights off. Jetway is being connected. Let's get your luggage. We're at the gate. We can stop the chronometer. I love how these guys walk through these pieces. The luggage is going to be on. We'll do the catering. Well, as I said, not the prettiest flight, but we're here. I do get a little annoyed that the navigation doesn't work great. I'm sure it's more me than the mods. I'll have to do more work on getting that right. But thank you for flying with us today from Halifax to Ottawa. And I hope you'll join me. Flight dreams for our next flight. Not sure where that will be or when it will be. But until then, 3 green and blue skies.